Okay, so good morning, all of you. Can you see my screen? Can anybody confirm?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so today we will start with first method that is used for calculating the roots of equation. So the name of this method is bisection method, and we already know the meaning of word bisect, that the given thing we divide into two equal parts or nearly equal parts. For example, there is a line, then bisecting means we divide the line into two parts. If there is an angle, then we divide the angle into two equal parts. So similarly, we are using this basic understanding of bisection to estimate the root of the equation, and that's why this method is called as bisection method. So we will start with the method with the certain steps, how step by step we implement this particular method in order to get the solution or root of the equation. So this method is based on the repeated application of intermediate value property. So last session we already discussed what is intermediate value property. Briefly, let's say y is a function of f of x, and if you know the two initial approximation a and b, then here you can see that f of a will have negative sign. That is, when you put a in function f of x, you will get minus f of a, and when you put b into the function, you will get positive f of b. So, and if you take the product of f of a and f of b, then the answer is always less than 0 in this case. So if this is the situation, then definitely a root lies between the 2 points, that is A and B. This is the intermediate property, and last lecture also I emphasized that you must remember this property, intermediate value property, because I am going to use that word again and again. Okay, so before going ahead, I put this figure in front of you so that you will understand how bisection method works. But whenever you solve the actual problem, every time you will not have a graph with you so that you can guess where is the root and how I can start iteration. So this graph you need to use for your understanding purpose, but while understanding the steps involved in this method, always try to understand that there is no figure in front of you and still you need to find out the root of the equation. So this is very important disclaimer I made at the beginning. Now the first step is define a continuous function f of x. So in figure you can see y is equal to f of x is a any given continuous function, and when a question is asked to you, a problem or example may be given to you like this: x is equal to 5x square minus 10. So you need to rearrange the terms so that on right side you will get equal to 0, and on left side all the terms will be there. So this is the modification you need to do, and then whatever terms are there on the left side of the equation, you need to call it as a f of x. So this is how we define the equation into a function f of x. So here f of x will be 5x square minus x minus 10. So this is the first step to start with the problem. So in the exam, whenever a question will be asked, equation may be given in this form or in this form or in this form as well. Sometimes only a single value is given, that is x raised to 4. So if only x raised to 4 is given to you, then you just need to equate f of x equal to x raised to 4. So ultimately what I'm trying to tell you is that try to understand in what format the equation is given to you, and you just need to convert that into f of x equal to whatever terms will be there. So this is the step number 1. Second step is find out two initial approximations. So as I mentioned that bisection method is a bracketing method, and in that we need two initial approximations which bracket the root. That is, between these two initial approximation values, there must be a root between these two. So let's say in this example, A and B are the two initial approximations. So in the figure, you can see that, let's say first approximation is A and second approximation is B. But while selecting the values of A and B, make sure that f of A and f of B will have opposite signs. That is, the product of f of A and f of B will have answer less than 0, and this is nothing but the intermediate value property. So this is very important. At the beginning, you don't have graph, so you need to find out the value, decide the values of A and B, so that the f of A and f of B will have opposite sign, so that it will satisfy the intermediate value property. So this is step number 2. Then sometimes what happens, when you assume the initial value of A, any value, let's say A, and when you put that value into the function f of x, then f of A will become 0. So if f of A becomes 0, then definitely you can say that it is the root of the equation. So at the step 1, you will get the root of the equation. Sometime in rare cases, this is possible. So if f of A becomes 0 for given value of A, then this will be the root of the equation. If f of A is not equal to 0, then you will put B into equation, and you may get f of B equal to 0. So when you put B equal to 0, then f of B becomes 0, then you can say that B is the root of the equation. So these are the two rare cases, and sometimes this happens. Third step is, if f of A is not negative value, non-zero value, and f of B is also non-zero value, then if f of A is negative and f of B is positive, then we can say that the product f of A and f of B is less than 0, and definitely the root lies between A and B. So here in the figure you can see that f of A is negative and f of B is positive, so root is between them. And first approximation of root is calculated by using a formula of bisection method, that is x1 is equal to 1 by 2 into A plus B. That is, we are just dividing the interval AB and finding the middle point of that. So this is the formula of bisection method, and we calculate the first root or first approximation of the root as x1. And in the figure you can see that when you bisect A and B, you may get x1 here. In the figure you can see that can be anywhere between A and B, but for understanding purpose, you may get the value of x1 here. So the first approximation is in the graph for which you will get the value of f of x1, and from figure you can see that f of x1 will be positive. But if, let's say here of another point you got the value of x1, so in that case what will happen? You will get f of x1 as a negative. So you don't know in actual practice where will be the value of x1, and you need to calculate the value of f of x1 so that you can decide where will be the root, or between which interval the root is lying. So if f of x1 is 0, then you can say that x1 is the root of the equation. So it is possible that when you put x1 into the equation or that function, you will get value as 0. So x1 will be the root of the function f of x. If f of x is positive, in figure you can see that here for x1 value, the f of x1 is positive, then you can say that the root lies between x1 and a as f of a be negative. So you can understand that if f of x1 is positive, then for previous value of approximation, the value of f of x is negative. So in this case, f of a is negative. So we can say that root lies between x1 and a. Here, on which basis we are saying root is lies between x1 and a? Just take the product of f of x1 and f of a, you will get negative answer. That is, again here we are trying to satisfy the intermediate value property, and based on that we are saying the root lies between x1 and a. But if f of x1 is negative, then we can say that root lies between x1 and b as f of b is positive. So this is the logic. So every time you need to apply the intermediate value property to find out between which two values root is lying. So if f of x1 is positive, root is between x1 and a. If f of x1 is negative, then root lies between x1 and b. Now again bisect the new interval. So if this is the true situation, that is if root lies between x1 and a, then you can find out the new approximation, that is second approximation, as x2, which is equal to 1 by 2 x into bracket x1 plus a. And if root lies between x1 and b, then x2 will be 1 by 2 x1 plus b. And repeat the above procedure to generate x3, x4, x5 till the root up to desired accuracy is achieved. So these are the steps that you need to follow in order to find out the root of the equation up to desired accuracy. Now we will discuss the same step graphically. What we do in graphically to find out the solution. So what we do? Okay, so what we do, we just find out the initial approximations a and b. So here you can see y is the function of f of x, which is continuous, and we assume the first approximation a, for which f of a is negative. We took second initial approximation, that is b, for which f of b is negative. So the product of f of a and f of b is negative. Here you can see. So you definitely say there is a root between f a and b. So here it is, you can see. Now in order to calculate the first approximation, you will use the formula x1 is equal to a plus b divided by 2, and you got a new value of approximation, that is x1. And when you look at the graph, definitely you can say that f of x1 will be positive. F of x1 will be positive. Then from the graph you can easily say that root lies between x1 and a. Then just find out the middle point, that is x2 is equal to a plus x1 upon 2. So you will get new approximation x2, and from graph you can easily say that f of x2 is negative. So root lies between x2 and x1, and therefore again you will bisect this interval by formula x3 is equal to x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and you will get a new value of approximation, that is x3. And again you can easily say that f of x3 is positive, and therefore root lies between x3 and x2. And based on this you can calculate x4, which is equal to x2 plus x3 upon 3, and it will be somewhere here, we don't know. But what we can understand here, as you go on implementing the intermediate value property again and again, slowly you are moving towards the actual root. So bisection method will definitely give you the root of the equation which lies between the point A and B, that is initial approximation. So this is how this method works. Now students, some of you may feel that it's very difficult to understand from these two, so we will take an example so that you can understand this method very easily. So we will solve one problem. The problem is find the root of equation x cubed minus 4x minus 9 equal to 0 using the bisection method correct to 3 decimal points. So equation is given to you, and you are told that bisection method you need to use, and the accuracy is mentioned that up to 3 decimal points. So after point, the accuracy up to 3 decimal point is required. So you need to set your calculator to 4 decimal points. Now you need to first of all define the function. So f of x is equal to x cubed minus 4x minus 9. So you just define the function. Then in the problem, the initial approximate values are not given to you, and you have to find out the values of a and b, that is initial approximation, such that f of a into f of b will be less than 0. So how to start? Because we have minus infinity to plus infinity value, so infinite number of values are there. So where to start? What will be the initial value for a and b? So generally here you need to start with initial value, that is x is equal to 1. So because whenever in the exam a problem will be asked to you, you need to start with x equal to 1, and somewhere close to that there will be a root. So put x is equal to 1 in this equation. You will get f of 1 as minus 12. So here you can see f of 1 is negative. So what we will do, again we will go on increasing the value of x. We will take 2, 3, and we will check when you will get f of x as positive. So again put x is equal to 2 in the equation, and you will get minus 9 as an answer. So negative sign. So you can say that the root is not between 1 and 2, because both use the negative answers for the function. Then put x equal to 3, you get f of 3 as positive. Now here you are getting f of 3 as a negative. So you can say that root lies between 2 and 3, because f of 2 is negative and f of 3 is positive, and it satisfies the intermediate value property. that is f of a into f of b less than equal to 0 or less than 0. So root lies between 2 and 3. So f of 2 is negative and f of 3 is positive. So root lies between 2 and 3. Let's say a equal to 2 and b equal to 3. So these are the two initial approximate values. Therefore, first approximation can be calculated as 1 by 2 into a plus b, and you got answer 2.5. Now what you need to do, put x is equal to x1, that is 2.5, and check the value of the function. So f of 2.5 is negative. So again you got a negative value for the function when you put x equal to x1, that is 2.5. And if you compare this value with the previous two values, then you can easily guess that root lies between 2.5 and 3. So root lies between x1 and b, that is 2.5 and 3. And again, you can calculate the second approximation, that is x2 is equal to 1 by 2 into x1 plus b, and the answer is 2.75. Again, put x equal to 2.75 and check whether the value of the function is either positive or negative. So this is the positive value for the function, so you can easily say that the root lies between x1 and x2, that is 2.75 and 2.5. So again, repeat this process and calculate the third iteration. X3 is equal to 1 by 2 x1 plus x2, and you get the answer as 2.625. So put x1 and value of x2, you got 2.625. Then again, put the value of x3 in the function, and the answer is negative. So we can say that the root lies between x2 and x3, because f of x3 is negative, and previous slide we saw that f of x2 is positive. Therefore, the fourth approximation of the root is x4 is equal to 1 by 2 x1 plus x2, x2 plus x3. Put the value of x2 and x3 in the equation, you will get x4 as 2.6875. Again, calculate f of x4, so you will get negative value. So check for which value of x you previously got positive value for the function, and you can say the root lies between these two, and repeat this process again and again. You can calculate x5, x6, x7, x8, x9. So we were expecting the answer up to 3 decimal places. So if you take x10, x11 and x12, then after point you will find the 3 points which are having same values for x10, x11 and x12. So you can say that the root of the equation is 2.706, and you can also put an additional term, that is 4. So you found out the answer up to 3 decimal points. So what we did, every time we check the answer for its accuracy, and we decided to go for next iteration. Now if you have any question, So you are free to ask. Yes, session is open for discussion. Yes, please anybody unmute yourself and ask a question related to this method. Did you understand this method? Yes, anybody? Yes, only one response. Yeah. If you have any kind of doubt, you need to ask a question here. This is very, very important.
Yes, sir. I have a doubt.
Yes, please.
Sir, since it is a cubic equation, then how to find the other two roots?
Yeah. So the thing is that here we find out only one root. So in examination, you will be asked to find out only one root. You need not to find out any other root. But yes, what you can do, here you came to know that the root lies between 2 and 3, right? But if you go on putting x is equal to 4, x equal to 5, x equal to 6, 7, then again you will come to know that there will be another root lies between between two different values, right? So this is the another method or another way to find out the another root or second root. Similarly, what you can do, put x equal to -1, -2, -3 and check the values of f of -1, f of -2, f of -3, and in this way also you will some point you will come to know that root lies between two values, let's say -2 and -4. So again the third root will be there.
Okay.
Is it clear? Yes.
Sir, I have calculated the roots on calculator, and first root is right, and other two roots are in complex numbers.
Yeah, this is possible.
Then how can we find the complex roots by this method?
Yeah, this method is especially used for calculating the real root. So that's why in the exam we try to find out only the real root. Yeah, there are some other methods by which we can calculate the complex root as well. And I guess in some point we will take similar kind of example with the help of which we can find out the complex root.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, is it clear?
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you for your question. Anybody else? Yes, anybody has any other question?